In August 2019, I introduced faculty to our new web conferencing service, Zoom. During that presentation, I asked faculty to consider their own presence in their online and hybrid courses. I asked specifically if they thought they were hidden behind technology or text in the course. I asked if students had an opportunity to both see and hear the faculty member during the course. I went on to discuss the power of the human face and the human voice to convey information and engage students at a level that text simply can't reach. Of course, none of us imagined that all of our courses were going online within 8 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and that this concern about engaging students remotely would be something that all faculty would need to be aware of and further would need to be able to address. In this video, we will consider 2 articles that have been published in Inside Higher Ed since the start of the pandemic. The first is called Online Learning is Not the Future by Peter Herman. This article was less academically rigorous in that the author surveyed his English students who had started the semester in face-to-face classes, but had to move their entire experience online due to COVID. To be clear, these are not necessarily students who signed up to take online courses. These are not necessarily students who ever wanted to take an online course. Also, some of the faculty teaching the students had never taught online before either. In addition, there was all the stress from the pandemic. Suffice it to say that it was a less than ideal starting point for many, and we can see that reflected in the results. Students consistently preferred the face-to-face model and felt as if they weren't getting their money's worth or being challenged or engaged appropriately online, with students reporting feelings of isolation over and over. In fact, the farther a class got from face-to-face, the less the students liked it, and the less they got out of it. Conversely, the closer a class got to approximating the traditional classroom, the better. The situation led one student to the realization that the college experience is truly about connecting with other people, faculty, staff, and students, and not just processing material. Part of this student frustration deals with the fact that certain mediums are a more engaging and effective means of communication than others. As we look at this continuum, we can see this in play. For instance, after 3 months in quarantine, we are all keenly aware that video conferencing is not as effective or engaging as face-to-face interactions. It's definitely better than the telephone or email, yet it does not fully replace that sense of being there with another person. If we look at this next diagram as if it were a funnel, we can see that face-to-face conversations and video conferences are at the wide end of the funnel because they are able to convey more information and meaning than every other type of communication. If we highlight the most common forms of communication used in traditional online and hybrid courses, we can see that those are only so effective and engaging, and that there is a lot of engagement and effectiveness left to be desired. Video conferencing and live lectures are 2 of the more engaging and effective means of communication, and are available through Zoom currently, and the author summarizes feedback that Zoom helps restore the human connections missing from virtual classes. There were also other benefits. Turning classes into Zoom meetings that started and ended at the same time as the regular class helped restore some sense of balance and structure for students. Now, at WVU Parkersburg, not all faculty have the ability to conduct Zoom meetings longer than 40 minutes. In these cases, faculty and students are able to leave an existing meeting after it ends and can then rejoin that same meeting again for an additional 40 minutes of meeting time. It's a little more work, but as we can see from the feedback in this article, students forced online by COVID-19 really miss those connections. Now that we've seen the preferred methods of communication favored by students, let's consider COVID-19 pandemic teaching prescriptions by Regan Gurung. In this article, The author summarizes recent feedback about the remote learning experience provided by Oregon State University faculty and students in surveys and focus groups. Much of this will be familiar territory for experienced faculty, yet it bears repeating. Feedback showed that faculty members and students had better experiences in classes that were characterized by 6 factors: compassion, clarity, organization, variety, flexibility, and engagement. Remote teaching calls for compassion. Faculty sensitive to the pandemic and the stress it is causing for all students modified their courses to be mindful of how much they're asking students to do on a week-by-week basis. They also communicated their concern for students. They were kind, thoughtful, and, even in the face of their own personal challenges, cared for the students' well-being. They were also understanding as students were forced into new technical challenges. Feedback also said that faculty need to be clear. Everyone gets stressed when we do not know what's expected of us. Courses with clear expectations and detailed, well-structured learning management system content were easier to learn in. Students who knew exactly what was needed in order to participate reported better experiences. In the same way, organization is more important now than ever, as students find themselves in unfamiliar online environments. Well-organized and clear instructions and activities help students prepare and set aside their own time to be able to participate. Frequent, structured contact with students in the form of announcements or emails was also helpful. The more organization that you can provide, the better. Variety is also critical, as working alone on repetitive tasks increases feelings of isolation and disconnectedness. Courses that offer many different ways to learn and to interact with the content, the instructor, and other students tended to keep students' attention more effectively. Consider a mixture of live and pre-recorded lectures, mixing up internet, video, and text resources, and engaging students in surveys and individual and group activities. Given the many extra challenges that both students and faculty members face, remote teaching benefits from instructor flexibility. Successful instructors found themselves being more flexible in due dates, attendance, and how learning was demonstrated. Also, given the uncertain nature of the pandemic moving forward, faculty members will also need to be ready to modify their courses for any easing up or tightening of restrictions. Student access to reliable internet service in our area is also a major factor, and faculty should be certain to survey students about the quality of their internet service and provide a low-stakes opportunity for students to practice with any required technologies before graded activities start. Lastly, instructors need to consider ways to build engagement. Faculty members should pay close attention to increasing their presence through video conferencing as suggested, or consider introductory or weekly recorded videos, as well as frequent emails and announcements. Involving more students in Zoom polls, post-lecture activities, and reading reflections can also increase engagement. We hope that you found this video interesting and informative as you plan your courses for next semester. Links to the articles are available in the video description below. We will follow up with a live workshop on Zoom that shows you how to engage your meeting participants using the interactive tools available inside Zoom. As always, please reach out for any questions or concerns.